this message is going to do the same thing. This has been too long coming, and it's been too obvious and too unfair. Women's equality in the law and in the Constitution for all.
Fairfax County Delegate Catchy made her case for lifting restrictions on third trimester abortions, as well as other restrictions now in place. And she was pressed by a Republican delegate about whether her bill would permit an abortion even as a woman is essentially dilating, ready to give birth. And she answered that it would permit an abortion at that stage of labor.
On Monday, the bill's sponsor, Democratic Delegate Catchy Tran, sparked the controversy when she was asked by a Republican lawmaker if her bill would allow an abortion even while a woman was in labor.
My bill would allow that, yes.
Hello, welcome to Family Matters. I'm Sharon McGinley, Executive Director of Cornerstone Action in New Hampshire.
And I'm Andrew Beckwith, President of Massachusetts Family Institute.
Many of you may have been hearing some rumblings regarding abortion laws in our country, specifically that which has taken place in the state of New York with Governor Cuomo signing a bill there regarding abortion, as well as the comments taking place in Virginia.
Yeah, that was really an appalling sort of start to the year on this life issue where you had the legislature in New York standing and applauding. I think they're tweeting out a video of everyone just cheering for this radical pro-abortion law that they passed in New York State. And then Governor Cuomo, I think later that same day, ordering that the spire on the One World Trade Center be lit up in pink to commemorate this awful law.
On the 46th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion nationwide, state lawmakers in New York approved a law permitting abortion in the state for any reason until the 24th week of pregnancy and then up until birth to protect, quote, the life and health of the mother. Cuomo applauded the legislation and marked the occasion by lighting the spire of the One World Trade Center pink to celebrate.
Pretty tragic stuff.
Yeah.
So it didn't stop there. In Virginia, we had similar legislation that was working its way through their legislature there. And I think because of the media attention that the New York law gained, there was more scrutiny in Virginia, which ended up being a good thing. Yeah. We're going to show you now some video of a back and forth between one of the sponsors of, again, this radical pro-abortion legislation in Virginia and a pro-life legislator. Watch this for yourself.
How late are we talking about?
Well, so the suggestion that we've made in the bill is to say it's in the third trimester and at the, with the certification of the physician. So
how late in the third trimester would you be able to do that?
It's very unfortunate that our physicians, witnesses, were not able to attend today to speak specifically.
No, I'm talking about your bill. How late in the third trimester could a physician perform an abortion if he indicated it would impair the mental health of the woman?
Or physical health.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm talking about the mental health.
So, through the third trimester. The third trimester goes all the way up to 40 weeks.
Okay, but to the end of the third trimester.
Yep, I don't think we have a limit in the bill.
So where it's obvious that a woman is about to give birth, she has physical signs that she is about to give a birth, would that still be a point at which she could request an abortion if she was so certified? She's dilating.
Mr. Chairman, that would be a decision that the doctor, the physician, and the woman would make.
I understand that. I'm asking
point.
if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
Wow, so there's no hiding it.
No
now,
hiding.
Interestingly, I think within a day or so of that exchange, which really outlined that they're talking about infanticide.
Yeah.
This is late-term abortions where the child might actually be born and be alive in sort of a botched abortion, and what do you do then? And so that was the specific question that was made to the governor of Virginia, Governor Ralph Northam, on a radio show, again, within a day or so of that exchange at the legislative hearing. And we've got some video of that. Wait till you hear what this exchange reveals.
And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mothers.
Wow. So, I mean, there he says, make the child comfortable and then have a discussion will ensue, I think is what he said. What do you make of that, Shannon?
What does that mean, Andrew? I mean, the only thing that can mean is that he is saying that it is okay to destroy that life if it isn't up to snuff of your standards as a parent. And where does one draw the line in that? How is it defined?
And there aren't good questions to that answer that they can have, certainly. So, I mean, I think it's important to point out that Governor Northam, he's not just a politician, he is a pediatrician. He's a doctor, a medical doctor, so he knows exactly what he's talking about there. This is not some slip of the tongue. And like you said, once you have a child that is outside of the womb and that is breathing, that is by all definitions, even the sort of laxest of pro-life laws, that is a live human being, a person who should be protected under the law. And he's talking about having a conversation with the mother and the doctor. Again, I'm not sure exactly what that conversation is going to be at that point, other than whether to let that child die. And there's nothing new under the sun. Historians of the ancient church tell us that one of the markers of the early Christian communities is that, unlike the pagans that surrounded them, who would expose their children, take unwanted babies who were born and just kind of put them on the ash heaps to die, that's something that the Christians didn't do. They pulled those children off the ash heaps. And so here we have essentially a medical version of that same horrific practice, where an unwanted child, if they do survive an abortion, is just going to be left to die, what some people call a fourth trimester abortion.
It's been interesting to me through all of this to see the number of individuals who are coming forward that are survivors of abortion. And, many of them...
The children, not just
the children themselves, who are now, in some cases, adults who were attempted abortions and managed to survive it. And I think that has been so profound for people to see that they are human beings too. And, they have gone on to be able to advocate for those children in these late-term abortions, in some cases, of the validity of their life, the dignity of their life, and that they are no less of a human being. It's profound to me. And they met with President Trump as well. And I've been so heartened by the fact that it's drummed up these people to come out of the woodworks and to share their stories of survival.
And what we're seeing is this is a very clarifying moment for the nation. You have states like New York, other states like here in New England, that are trying to push these radical pro-abortion laws. And then other states, I know Iowa in the past year passed a heartbeat abortion ban, so that any child that has a heartbeat is now protected by law and cannot be aborted in Iowa.
The measure would ban most abortions in Iowa once a heartbeat is detected. Late today, Governor Reynolds' office told me she hadn't received the bill. Opponents say they'll fight it if she signs it.
We defend life at all hours.
Iowa's House and Senate debating overnight and passing the controversial heartbeat bill Wednesday morning.
We are alive when our hearts start beating, and our life is over when it stops.
It would ban most abortions as soon as a heartbeat is detected.
So we're seeing a bifurcation where states that are more pro-life are passing good, strong pro-life laws like never before, and states that are pro-abortion are getting more and more aggressive in their quest to essentially legalize infanticide. And so this is all headed back to the Supreme Court that has a new makeup now. So we will see where that takes us.
District Court Judge Michael Huppert granted a temporary injunction to Iowa's fetal heartbeat abortion law, which was set to take effect July 1st. The injunction stops the law from being enforced while the litigation works its way through the courts, but does not permanently block the law. Attorneys with the ACLU said they are confident the law which would ban nearly all abortions after a fetal heartbeat is detected, is unconstitutional.
In Virginia, I spoke to our counterpart, Victoria Cobb, who runs the Family Policy Council down in Virginia. They've worked very hard to stop this bill, and my understanding is that the bill is dead on arrival right now in Virginia. So that battle will probably be taken up again, but at least for now, Virginia is not as bad off as we are in New York State. And I think part of that is because of this media attention on the governor, on what he said, and on an exchange that took place in the legislature, because poll after poll shows when people are asked about this type of brutal late-term abortion practices, the American people want no part of it. And so
I think that they're surprised to even find out that abortion is legal throughout all 9 months of pregnancy. I think there's a bit of a blind spot in an understanding of what did Roe versus Wade mean and what did its companion case Doe versus Bolton really mean. And for a number of folks in New Hampshire, they thought, oh, well, they were coming back to us and saying, well, what can we do to keep it from happening, from what happened in New York happening in New Hampshire, only for me to have to tell them it's already in New Hampshire, that we do have abortion throughout all 9 months of pregnancy without any restrictions. And so these things, these tragic events that have taken place in New York and Virginia have actually opened up opportunities to be able to have a dialogue about what are the laws around the country and specifically, in your given state. And so it's a good thing to understand more of where we are and then help people to navigate how can I get involved and how can I make a difference in protecting the right to life in the unborn.
That's right, Sharon. It's a clarifying moment for us as a nation, and we'll talk about some of the specifics here in our home states of New Hampshire and Massachusetts in a subsequent show. But if you liked what you heard today, or at least were encouraged by some of what you heard and to learn about these topics, please hit subscribe and send this link out to all of your contacts so they can learn about the topics and be engaged as well.
And turn on your notifications as well.
And remember, it may seem like you're alone as a pro-life individual or person of faith here in New England, but you're not. There are tens of thousands, if not more, like you. And when it comes to faith, family, and freedom in New England, don't feel like you're alone. We've got your back.